Easter is around the corner, so I want to show you a little cake that you can make for Easter. We're going to start with a sponge cake, a cloud cake, a cake that's very light. And I like to make it inside a tray like that, instead of baking into a ring or into a cake pan. This way it cooks a lot faster and it stays very moist. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So I have 5 egg whites and 70 grams of sugar. I'm going to do that in a little bit. The next steps is to take 60 grams of milk, 60 grams of oil. So those two together, like that, the milk and the oil. Then I can add the vanilla. Vanilla is about 6 grams. And I have 6 grams of cornstarch that are going to mix with 60 grams of flour. And then the yolk will be after. So now all the liquid are going to warm them up. About warm to the touch, warm to hot to the touch. There is no precise temperature for that. So I have my hot liquid here. I'm going to add the starch to it, mix it together. Of course, this is cake flour, and the cake flour is sifted. Okay, I mix everything, I don't want any lumps. Okay, so the base for the cake is ready. Now I'm going to leave that in a warm place, so I want that to stay warm but not cooking. So it's very, very low set here. Okay, now we need to whip the egg white. 5 egg white, 70 grams of sugar. I don't have any lemon. If I have lemon, I will start to put some lemon. The lemon going to help stretching the protein of the egg white and they don't break down. But you can do the same if you add the sugar at the beginning. I put about 1/3 of the sugar inside the mixer. When the egg white start whipping, I'm going to add the rest of the sugar, not too late. The egg white are just forming. I already put all my sugar. So that's going to keep my meringue a little bit heavier, but it will not break down. Okay, as you can see, the egg whites are very nice, shiny, but they didn't break down. That's because I put my sugar relatively early. Okay, now right away I'm going to add the base. So when you mix it, you see what I do. I go on the bottom and come back to the top. You don't want to deflate those egg whites. You work so hard on it, you don't want to deflate anything. Just mix all the ingredients together. Now I'm going to put that into my tray. And now I'm just going to spread the cake. Again, be careful to not deflate the cake. So instead of really spreading, what I do, I just push the cake around. You don't want to move it too much, because every time you move it, you lose a little volume. I'm going to put that into the oven at about 400-420 degrees, and I actually put the fan on, so it's going to cook relatively fast. Cloud cake is in the oven, almost ready now. I want to do a white chocolate ganache, and I'm going to whip this ganache to a very light cream. So I have 150 grams of cream behind me, and I'm going to add 1 vanilla bean to it, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. So that's going to take no time. When it's ready, I'm going to pour that over 75 grams of white chocolates, and I'm going to add 190 grams of cold cream. So now what I want to do is add this mixture to my cold cream. Thank you. And we are ready. I'm going to put that over ice and cool it down. Okay, so the cake is ready. I don't want to warm up my table, so I have to be careful. I'm just going to pass a knife around it and then slide the paper to the table like that. What I like to do when I take a cake out like that of the oven is actually flip it. Because what's going on is the cake loses some of the moisture through the top. If I sandwich it like that, then the paper going to insulate it and no moisture going to evaporate, the cake going to stay very moist. So I like to do that technique. And just leave it like 5 to 10 minutes until the cake cool down. You can actually move it around the table. So here it's warm now, but here it's cold. So that's going to cool down the cake very fast. Then we're going to cut some circles and we are ready to put the cake together. You see how fast it is to put a cake together. Okay, so my cake is out of the oven. I'm going to just remove the parchment paper. Oh my God, this is so soft. I love this cake. So then I can cut with my ring here my different layer. And we want about 5, 6 layers. 5 layers should be good. So now we're going to have 5 nice pieces of the cake of 5 different layers. If you make that cream the day before and leave it in the refrigerator, it's a lot easier. But I put it on ice and then I cool down the bowl of my mixer. So I hope that's going to be cold enough now to be able to whisk it together. Now I'm going to put the cream into my stand mixer. Cream, white chocolate and vanilla. And then I'm going to whip everything together. Okay, so I just made a nice light buttercream. I'm going to put the recipe on the description, but I already did that on Tuesday Tips, so you can go back and look for the recipe for the buttercream. With the buttercream, I want to flavor it with something that we find in spring. So I have here some raspberry jam, just a couple spoons of raspberry, just to give a little nice color and a tiny bit more flavor. This is why I didn't put any vanilla, but I put a little bit of raspberry jam. Okay, so I have my raspberry buttercream. I'm going to use a disposable piping bag to put that on the layer of my cake. You see it's barely pink and you have a little bit of flavor that I really love it like that. Okay, and then I'm going to pipe that. I don't want a too thick layer, but enough to get some nice flavor. And you go all the way to the side of the cake, okay? That's good. Now another layer of cake. I think 4 layers will be enough for these cakes. So I have 5. The number 5, I will eat it. One more layer and we are done. Okay, so now I'm not paying too much attention because I'm going to use an offset spatula to make it flat. Okay, that's pretty flat here. Okay, so let's try to unmold the cake with a torch. So what I can do now is take a little bit more buttercream put that buttercream on the side here and cover completely the side. You don't have to do that. It's just me being a little extra pastry chef. But I know now it's a style that you can do when you not cover the side, which actually, look pretty good. Putting the cream on the side helps the cake to not dry, so that's why I like to do that. So I temper a little bit of white chocolate. My cake is on my table, waiting to be decorated. I'm going to put a little white chocolate on my table. And then I'm going to spread it around. Okay, then I'm going to use a chef knife to make some little piece of chocolate like that, and I will put them on the side of my cake. So the chocolate curls was in the fridge for a couple of minutes, so they are nice and cold now, and my cake is nice and soft. If I was at the factory, I will have a cake board, and I will put the cake on top of the cake board, or a cardboard, and then I will hold my cake like that, and I will put all that around the cake. I'm home. I don't have the cake board. I don't have all that stuff here. So I need to find a way to put that around the cake. And my guess is I'm just going to apply it like that and remove the excess. Okay, now that we have that, this is not the main decoration. We're going to work on making a nest. So interesting techniques here. I put some water inside a long container like that, and I leave it overnight in the freezer. I want a piece of ice in order to pipe some chocolates on top of it. And because the chocolate is not tempered and it's going to seize or cool down very fast, I will be able to shape it with my hand. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to put a towel here. I'm going to flip that over. And you see I have a nice piece of ice. So then, that being said, I'm going to use some untempered white chocolates. And then what I want to do here is do some lines like that. If they touch each other, don't worry, it's okay. The interesting things here is that chocolate is going to set very fast. I'm going to use a knife to cut actually both sides. Then take that and shape it like a nest. So I can put more here. Okay. Another way to do that will be actually to take a piece of marble, leave it in the freezer overnight, and you can do exactly that on a piece of marble. I don't have a small piece of marble, so I do it on top of a nice cube. I went to Jacques Torres Chocolate online, mrchocolate.com, and I ordered some quail egg that we make, and they are filled with caramel, soft caramel center. So then I can take my eggs like that and present them . Okay, so I try to keep it easy enough that you can do something like that at home. I can always make it more complicated. I can always, make something a little bit more fancy. My goal is to show you something that you can do for your family at home for Easter. Happy Easter, I hope that helped.